today. My name is Bruce Smith, practitioner in training. Thank you very much, but there's lots of thanks to go around. Our speaker today, Esperanza Ramos. The Center Singers, very talented group. Music directors, Stacy and Dina. Singers, Tiffany and April. Our ushers today, Miriam and Gerardo. Sound, we have Frank being very busy and Aaron. And all other volunteers that I may have missed, I'm sorry, who make this center the joyful abundance that it is. So welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Antelope Valley. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, you are embraced here. We believe that we are co-creators with the divine and that you can change your life by changing your mind and your vibration. Ernest Holmes is the founder of our philosophy, and we teach universal truths distilled from the world's spiritual teachings, whether they be from the Bible, Buddhism, Deepak Chopra, Marianne Williamson, or the Sutras of Yoga. Please visit our website, Center for Spiritual Living, AntelopeValley.com, for more information. Also, we have information on the table and back. So, helping today with the announcements was going to be Aaron. Yeah, still going to be. He's on his way. First of the month, some things change, so we sometimes get a little less organized.
Hey, everybody. Announcements for May the 4th be with you. Our current events. Let's give a hand for our friends born in May. We wish you a very happy birthday and invite you to celebrate every day this month that you were born. Our community vegetable garden boxes are built. If you would like to participate, donate soil, bring some donuts, fertilizer seedlings, or the ultimate in green gifts, cash. Please speak to Tiffany Lee. Raise your hand. Please note your donation is for the garden fund. Put that on your check. Put that in the notes of your PayPal, however you want to do it. Dean Everson Williams will strengthen your mind and body with her yoga classes every Saturday at 9 a.m. A $20 love donation is gratefully accepted. On Wednesday, May 7th, at 6 p.m., the Spanish language study group is facilitated by Esperanza Ramos. I'd say it in Spanish, but I roll my R's, so we're good. On Monday, May 12th at 7 p.m., join Stacy for the full moon sound bath. Sonically connect to the moon with crystals singing sound bowls. This meditation experience is a $20 love donation. The monthly men's group meets on Tuesday, May 20th at 6 p.m. It is facilitated by our Court Council President and audiovisual extraordinaire Frank Williams. On Saturday, May 24th at 1 p.m., Reverend Jessica Fish facilitates a Zoom bereavement support group. The link information is on our website, it's in the weekly email bulletin you get, and it's on the brochure on the back table. No excuse to not have the info. Our Authentically Me Women's Group meets the fourth Sunday of the month at 3 p.m. The next meeting is May 25th. Every moment of this group is designed to bring joy and laughter into your life. For our Summer Solstice Arts and Healing Festival, or join us for our Summer Solstice Arts and Healing Festival on Saturday, June 21st. Surprisingly, that's the summer solstice, from 11 to 6. That's what I said. Just listen to me, don't read. Our indoor booths are sold out. That is really good news. By inference, the outdoor booths are not. So if you would like to volunteer or become a vendor for an outside booth, it's $65 to be a vendor. It's free to volunteer, no charge. Admission is free for the public. Please contact Jane or Tiffany. Jane, no here. So Tiffany, you get double contacts today. or our website for more information. You guys, we're going to need lots of help. We need volunteers. We need people to come man booths to help corral people, do all that, show up for the center so that the center can show up for us. 21st. It's a great day. It's the day before my birthday. Yes, the day before my birthday literally is the longest day of the year. Live entertainment is Cervantes. If you haven't heard of them, you need to come and experience it. And the ballet Folklorico. Oh boy. Quetzalcoatl, Aztec dancers. Was it close? All right. Compassionate care team. If you know someone in our spiritual community is having health challenges in the hospital or is otherwise in need of support, please contact Joe McLaughlin, or you can see me. Is there anyone here for the first time? Let's get some hands up. All right. We are blessed by your presence today. We invite you to Friendship Hall after the service to enjoy some snacks. We have a welcome table reserved for you. The ushers also have a little bag for you. Inside is a welcome card to fill out with your email so you can receive our event information. We're not going to spam you. It's okay. But please give the card to one of the ushers or drop it in the offering basket. Let's give them a warm welcome. We have many ways to keep informed. Sign up for our weekly email bulletin or scan the QR code for our website, which is somewhere in back. For those who still like paper, a brochure is on the back table, or check the bulletin board in Friendship Hall. At the end of the service, you can enjoy a 2-minute tune-up with our practitioners. It's a great way to kind of get refocused and centered. If you want to take advantage of that, come forward. If you want to just go get the snacks, quietly but swiftly leave the room. Thank you.
Good. Oh, there I am. Hi, everybody. It's a new month. That means new songs. The first song is Thank You for This Day by Karen Drucker. We know this one because we've sang it before, so sing along. And if you feel like dancing, you know what to do. Here we go. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day, this healing, this healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Again, thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. One more time. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. For my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Friends again. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. For my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. Thank you for my health, Spirit. Thank you for my health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. My radiant, my radiant, my radiant health. For my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my life, Spirit. Thank you for my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. My radiant wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. Thank you for my wealth, Spirit. Thank you for my wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. My opulent, my opulent, my opulent wealth. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit.
you very much, beautiful singers. Candle lighting, lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. Miriam lights the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous people, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for those who are as yet unaware of spirit in their lives, and for the space we are holding for them here at the center. As Miriam lights the healing candles, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. Today's sacred reading comes from the Science of Mind textbook by Ernest Holmes. And he says we should read, study, think, and meditate upon those statements which tend to calm, to give poise and confidence, and erase all thoughts of fear and tension. The subjective law can only operate upon that which is given it. So we must be very careful of our patterns of thought. We live in a sea of perfect life, and we should take time to understand and sense this in our imagination. We should think of ourselves as being surrounded by perfect life and poised in an eternal calm. We are in a sea of untroubled waters of life, from which we may freely drink. We must do the drinking. No one else can do this for us. We should hold out our cup of acceptance until it is filled and overflowing with the manifestation of our desires. The chalice of the heart is held up that the heavenly flow may fill it with God's abundant life. So let us pray. Divine Spirit is here with us, and with us is love, joy, abundance, and power. Everything flows from God. Just as God made the sun and the stars, God made us. But especially, we are given creative power. Our mind is constantly creating. Our beliefs are our creation. We can believe today, same as yesterday, or we can believe today, miracles happen. I know deep in my heart that we are all miracle workers. As we release fear and embrace faith, we can work miracles. All we need is the confidence to trust our beliefs in miracles. From parking spaces to Powerball, miracles do happen. And when we have a lottery winner, I believe that they honestly tithe to this center. With gratitude, I speak this word to law, knowing that it is already done. I release and let go as we say together, and so it is. Center singers.
Thank you, Bruce. Everybody take a deep breath in. This song is called Sacred Love by Daniel Namad.
You are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are. And we repeat, you are sacred love, sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love, God, sacred love is all that you are.
Show the way.
Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace, blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace, God, blessed peace is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy, deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy, God, deepest joy is all that you are. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Show the way, show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way.
This talk today, we're talking about, I always say I love the beginning of the month. Okay, first of all, let's start off with that. I love the beginning of the month because we always have a new theme, and then we have a topic, and then we have new songs. And it's just always amazing to me how the songs always align so beautifully with the topic and everything else. So the sacred love. And I love that, especially because in this talk, we're talking about confidence unleashed. And we're talking about the art of self-advocacy. And I invite you, as we move forward in this day, to see the sacred in that. Because some of the information, we think about self-advocacy, right? And we think, what is that? That's standing up for myself. It's sometimes we think we need to defend ourselves in some way. And so taking that idea and the information that I'm going to share with you today and finding the sacred in that. And so I just love the song so much. And by the way, happy Sunday, everyone. So my name is Esperanza Ramos, and I'm a practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, as well as a ministerial student. And so I'm really happy to be here with you guys today and to share a little bit of my wisdom as far as the art of self-advocacy. So I started looking up the words. We always do a little research before we start and, before we come in here and share all this wisdom with you. And so I pulled up some words and I want to share them with you. Confidence, a belief in oneself, a belief in your ability, coupled with the conviction to act accordingly. So I thought that was really interesting. So it's not only about believing in yourself, but what are you going to do with that belief? So you're going to, taking a step forward. And then unleashed came out as release from a leash or a restraint. But when I continued to search, I found that in the Old Testament, the word unleash in Hebrew is reshith, which is translated to beginnings, which implies that God's creative power being set in motion. And so when we talk about unleash, we're not just talking about let me loose, It's about that power of God that is being unleashed, that we are moving forth. We're putting it in motion. And where is that power of God? Well, we know it's right here, right? It's right here. It's in you. It's in you. It's in you. It's in each individual that is in this room. It is in every individual, no matter where they are. And so let's keep in mind that self-advocacy is a big thing. I, for one, have always looked at it in this whole medical arena because that's when it comes up the most, right? It comes up the most where we need to talk and be able to speak with confidence about what our needs are. And so how do we do that? There are so many ways to do that. I was talking with my daughter the other day, and we were talking about self-advocacy, and she was saying it's an act of love. So it's an act of love for each one of us to have for ourselves, or for someone that may need us to advocate for them. Has anyone here ever had to self-advocate? Yeah, maybe once or twice. So I talk about this whole thing about the medical field, and how many of you have gone to the doctors? And first of all, it takes a month to make an appointment. Then you go in there, and you're waiting for an hour to be seen. Even if you get there on time, right? You're waiting for an hour to get seen. And then you go in there, and the doctor spends like 5 minutes with you, and they tell you something like, well, just take some Tylenol, and, if you don't feel any better in 2 weeks, come back. Gee whiz, they could have at least given you 10 minutes for that, right? Because it was so much effort for you to get there. But how could that have gone any different? When we say, hold on a minute, I'm not done. I have questions. I don't want to take Tylenol, So we go back to that whole thing of like, how do we advocate for ourselves? And it seems like in our most vulnerable moments, it's when we find that we need to advocate for ourselves. because we're ill, because we don't feel good, because something is happening to us, because we're in a situation. Maybe you're in an accident. Maybe something is happening. Life is happening, right? So something happens, and you're feeling very vulnerable. And yet, your needs are not being met. So you have to speak up, So how do you do that? There are so many ways that we could do it. So it's kind of tricky thinking, too. We always talk about here in the Center for Spiritual Living that sometimes we do things that we call spiritual bypass. So sometimes things can be happening, or we're in this situation, this whole doctor thing, or wherever we're at, and we're like, well, it's just the way it is. Let me just accept this for what it is. Let me be kind and loving and allow it to be, because it's just the way it's supposed to be, And sometimes doing that is really what we call a spiritual bypass. We're accepting something that may not necessarily be true, because we know that as divine expressions of God, we have the ability to change our life. And so we have the ability to move things in a different direction. We have the ability, we have that power. We have been empowered by the Spirit, to be able to do those things for ourselves. So how do we do it? I read this article that was by Rashi Joan Halifax from the Upana Zen Center. And she wrote this, and it was really interesting, because I think this is where we draw that line, whether are we advocating for ourselves, or do we feel like we have to defend ourselves? Because sometimes when we defend ourselves, we're coming from that, like an ugly place, of putting up the walls and fighting back and all of that. And yet when we're advocating for ourselves, we're coming from a place of love. And so what she wrote was, all too often, our so-called strength comes from fear, not from love. Instead of having a strong back, many of us have a defended front, shielding a weak spine. In other words, we walk around brittle and defensive, trying to conceal our lack of confidence. If we strengthen our backs, metaphorically speaking, and develop a spine that's flexible but sturdy, then we can risk having a front that's soft and open. How can we give and accept care with strong back, soft front, compassion, moving past fear to a place genuinely tender? I believe it comes when we can be truly transparent, seeing the world clearly and letting the world see us. So sometimes it's just that we don't feel like we're being heard. We don't feel like we're being seen, And from that perspective, we want to fight back, We want to advocate, but really we're just defending something. And so I think that taking her words and recognizing that in that there is something sacred, that sacredness that tells us that our life is moving in a direction that we are creating, because we are the co-creators of our life. And so how do we want to change our thinking to create something new, something different, something more powerful, something more appeasing, something that draws us in, something that excites us, something that we love, something that we want, rather than just allowing these things to take place. Dr. Margie Worrell, I can't say that, Warrell, she wrote in a 2015 article, it was a Forbes article, and she said, use it or lose it. Often people think of confidence as something that the lucky few are born with, and the rest are left wishing for. Not true. Confidence is not a fixed attribute. It's the outcome of the thoughts we think. So I thought this was so interesting, because this is on Forbes magazine. This is a woman who is, talking to all these rich people. And, people who already got it going on, right? And she's talking about how, you know, having confidence is not something that is only special to the elite. You know, it's something that we all have. And it's the outcome of the thoughts that we think. So if, you know, we think about that little, if you guys have children, you probably did the little choo-choo train that can, right? So the choo-choo train that thinks he can. And the choo-choo train that thinks he cannot. So whatever it is that you are thinking as far as your confidence, you know, your self-advocacy, what you need, are your needs being met, all of that is going to be the reality of what your thoughts are creating. And so it's kind of like putting it back on you, and we don't always like that, but it is always an opportunity to take a look and to see, you know, what's in here? What am I thinking? What's going on? How's it happening? Why is it happening? So in the science of mind, we know that our thoughts create our reality. And so recognizing our divine nature is so important in all aspects of our life, right? Including confidence and self-advocacy. So today, we look at self-advocacy as a sacred calling. You know, it's not something that is not already within us. You know, it is sacred. It is your God-given gift. You know, how do you move that forward, and how do you use that in your life, you know, or in the life of others? You know, sometimes we think that if we do something to better us, we have to remember that when we do something to better us, we better others. Because it is in that energy, that essence of love, that essence of confidentiality, not confidentiality, that's the wrong word, of confidence, you know, that energy of confidence and that energy of self-advocacy that if we express that, we spread it, you know, we spread it out to others. You know, on Thursday, we hosted the Interfaith Council here, and it was a National Day of Prayer. And some of you were here, and the theme was United in Hope. And I thought it was so beautiful, and I was thinking about this when I was writing this up, and I was thinking, yeah, there were multiple different religions and belief systems that came. A lot of them spoke. They shared on what they believe, and they shared a prayer for the world. It wasn't a prayer just for their religion. It wasn't a prayer just for the people in this room. It was a prayer for the entire world. And they prayed it the way that they prayed it, right? And what I thought was really, really beautiful about it was that each individual person who represented their faith was being an advocate for their faith. So they were advocating for their faith. They were here talking about what they believe, why they believe it, and then praying for everyone who, you know, everyone in the world. And I thought that was the most beautiful thing, and how even with our differences, you know, we come together in faith, we come together in unity, we come together, as the theme said, with hope. You know, the hope of love, the hope of unification, the hope, you know, to be able to envision a world that works for everyone, you know. And I don't know how many of you have read our global vision, the CSL Global Vision. It's on the website, the csl.org website. It is the most beautiful thing. And I'm not going to take time to read it here because it's quite long, but I would really invite you all to go to the website and to read the global vision, you know, and it really breaks down how we envision a world that works for everyone, you know, where everyone has food, where everyone has what they need, where everyone is loved, everybody's treated equally, you know, with respect. It's just a beautiful thing. So today, when we think about advocating through the science of mind perspective, it really means moving in a higher vibration. Okay, so we want to be in a higher vibration. You know, when we go into anything. And I'm going to share an example with you of how advocacy can show up in your life at any time. And this is a personal example. Many of you already know that I had this experience with breast cancer. And I went to a doctor, and I really liked her, and it was, this thing that was supposed to be easy peasy, just go in, have surgery, done. Well, it didn't happen that way, I went after multiple surgeries. It still wasn't a complete thing. Like, I still had to go back and have more surgery. And I had fallen into that place of acceptance for what was happening, for the experience that I was having, and moving forward in a way that I wasn't really happy with, but accepting that this is the way it's going to go, right? But my daughter-in-law was like, no, don't do it. You have the right to get a second opinion. You have the right to see someone else. You have the right to, make sure, because the issue was that the doctors were not aligned where I was going with, the treatment plan. And she says, you have the right to go somewhere where all the physicians are aligned for your better good, for what you want. And so they, one of the doctors had said that I was suffering from decision paralysis because I wouldn't make a decision. And I wouldn't make the decision because I said, you guys aren't even aligned, this doctor's saying that, you're saying this other one's saying something else. I mean, until you guys come together and are aligned, then I can make a decision. But my daughter-in-law kept saying, no, go somewhere else. It's okay. And, for some reason, I felt like I was cheating on my doctor, like, I'm going to cheat on my doctor and go somewhere else. That kind of sounds kind of bad. But I finally did, and the outcome was good. But it was one of those things where I think that I had gotten stuck in that place of spiritual bypass. Just accepting the condition, accepting the treatment plan, accepting that it was a little chaotic and maybe this was normal. That's where I was. I wasn't in decision paralysis. I was in this spiritual bypass, where it's like, oh, everything's going to be fine, And I think that we do that too. Like, sometimes we say, everything's going to be fine. If God is all there is, and I am one with God, then God is going to take care of all of my needs. Okay? And yes, that is true. However, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story about the guy who was up on the roof because of the flood, and he kept saying, well, God's going to take care of me. And so a boat comes by and says, come on, dude, jump on the boat. And he's like, no. I'm waiting because God's going to take care of me. And then, I don't know, somebody else comes by and tries to take him, and a helicopter comes, and the man keeps saying no until he drowns, right? And so that story is so relevant here, because when we think about being advocates for ourselves, knowing that God is everywhere present, within us, around us, surrounding us, all of that is true. But we are a philosophy of taking action, We pray and we move our feet, right? So we take action. So if something shows up for us, just like my daughter-in-law who showed up for me saying, do something else, that, I interpret as the action, God speaking through her, and getting me to where I needed to be. So it's this whole circle, this whole cycle of stuff that we don't always recognize. We don't see it because we're so caught up in the material day. We're so caught up in the everything, the what's happening and the what's not happening and what's on the news, and she said this and they said that, and we're so caught up that we don't see, like Bruce said, the miracles, all the miracles. We are having these miracles over and over and over again in our life. So we have choices, right? We can look at our life and see everything that's happening and saying, it's just, life is good. Or we can look at everything that we see in our life, in everyone's life, and say, wow, did you see that? Look at that beautiful miracle. So I want to share a little miracle with you right now. We've been talking about here at the Center for Spiritual Living about starting children's church. And so, we've been putting it out there and putting it out there, and we're envisioning this beautiful children's church, and we keep saying, the children are going to come. And when the children come, the teacher is going to show up. And so all of this we've been talking about for a long time. I mean, ask Frank, everybody in the board meetings, we're always bringing it up. When are we going to do something? When are we going to do something? Just recently, about a week ago, I got a hold of the children's curriculum. And I thought, oh, look at that. We struggled to get that curriculum, I don't know for how long last year, and we couldn't get it. And now there it is. I know how to access it so easily. And look at today, we have these beautiful little angels in our center. Yeah. So it's one step closer, We are evolving. We are growing as a spiritual center. We are moving forth with all the blessings of Spirit, right? Just going in that direction and being able to provide more and more and more. And I thank all of you for that. Because without you, that it would be nothing. Okay, but I'm not done with my talk. Let me finish real quick. So, so when we advocate for ourselves or we advocate for anyone in this world, we have to remember that we want to speak the truth with love. And I'm not saying that go out there and pick up a picket sign or do any of that, because that is entirely up to you. And that's entirely up to what you believe, right? I am saying that energy of advocacy, that energy of taking care of each other. First, yourself. Sometimes we say this philosophy is a little bit selfish because we want you to take care of yourself, and then you take care of the person next to you. It's like the oxygen mask that falls in the airplane, right? Because that's how we grow. That's how we evolve, sharing and being that love of life, that love of Spirit, the love of each and every one of you. To embody peace in the midst of chaos. So we can look at the world and we can say, oh, wow, it's chaotic. Or we can look at the world and we can say, you know what can I do in this moment? In this moment, I'm in peace. I bring the peace. I stand here with that peace, right? And to affirm the dignity of all people, knowing we are all individualizations of the one. And I think that goes without saying. I think everybody here already knows it and believes it. That what we believe is that we are all manifestations of the one God. God has created us, and, we're different, I have all these beautiful colors in my hair. They just grow so naturally, and, somebody else has, blonde hair, somebody else has brown hair, and somebody else has no hair. And that's okay. We're all individuals, right? And we show up in this beautiful body, that God has given us, gifted us. Because we're gifted these bodies temporarily, right? So we can experience this spiritual experience. And so, as we close, remember three things. Spiritual advocacy begins with listening. So we want to listen not only to ourselves and what our needs are, but listening is an act of love. It is also an act of humility. When we listen to the pain, to the stories, to the needs of others, without trying to fix anything, we just listen to understand. So we're opening ourselves to divine wisdom, and we share that. The universe speaks not only through stillness, but through the people in our life, right? Number two, we advocate through conscious speech. So Holmes teaches that our words have power, right? Ernest Holmes says that. This means our voice matters, and how we use it matters even more. Advocacy can be a prayer, spoken out loud or spoken to yourself. It could be either one. It can be a courageous no in the face of injustice. It can be an I believe you, I hear you, I love you, spoken to someone who has lost their way or someone who is in need. Every word is a seed, and so we know that we're always planting those seeds. And number three, we act as Spirit's hands and feet. The science of mind is not passive. We are co-creators with the divine. To advocate is to become a divine instrument, whether through writing, voting, organizing, mentoring, leading, loving, praying, whatever word you want to put there. That's what we do. Every action, when guided by love, is sacred. And so let's not forget that we are never powerless. You know, sometimes we get caught up in things and we think, oh my God, the sky is falling and I can't stop it, you know? But we are not powerless. We have all the power of the world because the power is within us. You know, Spirit is working through us, as us. And so that power is within us. So I want you guys to repeat after me. I am the voice of the Spirit in the world. One more time. I am the voice of Spirit in the world.
I am the voice of Spirit in the world.
I speak with love. I act with courage. I advocate with power. The world is healed through me. Thank you, everybody. Let's move into prayer. And so we take these beautiful words, you know, the words that began from the very beginning here, you know, with the music, the sacredness of the songs, the beautiful reading that Bruce did, the words from this talk. We know that they are all interconnected because that's how Spirit works. We are each individualized expressions, and yet we are all interconnected. And so knowing that, we know that there is only one mind, and that mind is God's mind, and that mind is my mind, and that mind is your mind. And with this mind, we spread the love, we spread the hope, we spread the power, that beautiful essence that we know that we are. Everywhere we go, we bring it on. We bring the peace. We bring the calm. We bring the truth. And so it's in that truth that we move forward in this world with a smile on our face, just loving and accepting and welcoming everyone who passes who is in our path, everyone we see. We just look in their eyes and we just love them unconditionally because they are also an expression of God. And we don't need to know anything about them. We don't need to judge them. We don't need to do anything but just love them. And in that spirit of God, that spirit of oneness, that spirit of the sacred, we say yes, yes, and thank you. Thank you so much, Spirit, for this blessing. Thank you for this teaching. Thank you for the truth. And we embody that with a nice deep breath and a big heart full of gratitude. And we just release it into that universal law, just allowing it to unfold so beautifully, so perfectly, knowing that it is already done. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Esty. You're welcome. Beautiful. Yes, definitely. Round of applause. That was wonderful. The advocacy part, sometimes you got to be bad, you got to be bold, you got to be wiser, right? You got to be hard, and you got to be tough, and you got to be stronger. But you got to be cool, and you got to be calm, and you got to stay together. And all I know is love will save the day, right? This song is about confidence, about trusting yourself. Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds, try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears, go ahead, release your fears, stand up and be counted, don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Herald what your mama said, read the books your father read, try to call the tussles in your own sweet. Some may have more cash than you, others take a different view. My, oh my, hey, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Time asks no questions, it goes on without you, leaving you behind if you can't stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning, can't stop it if you try to. The best part is danger staring you in the face. Oh. Remember, listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds, try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears, go ahead, release your fears. My, oh my, yeah, sing it with me. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, oh yeah, you gotta be bad, got to be bad, you got to be bold, got to be wise. Don't ever say, got to be hard, but not too hard. All I know is that love will save the day. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day. You gotta be bad, love will save the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stacy, that was wonderful. Time has come for our conscious giving. And if we can say the invitation in unison together, it would be, today I give in love and joy from the overflow of the abundance in my life. My gift goes forward to uplift and advance, fulfilling the purpose of our spiritual community. Lives are transformed. I am grateful, and so it is. And the center singers are back.
Woohoo! This song is called I Can See Clearly Now. Hey! No, it's not that one. Some of you all know this. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. This is an old reggae tune. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh, it's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. One more time. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Good job.
Thank you. That was beautiful. And thank you for these gifts of the tithes. Bless them. Bless them as they go forth to serve the missions, the ministries of this church. And bless all our congregants and members here today for their joyous giving. Thank you all. Thank you for being here today. We have been blessed by your presence. Now, if the congregation would please stand, and we have a benediction to say. Perhaps make a circle. Okay, if you'll repeat after me, please. We know who you truly are.
We know who you truly are.
You are a unique way that Spirit is expressing.
You are a unique way that the Spirit is expressing.
We love you. We appreciate you. We thank God for you. Welcome home.
Welcome home.
And if you'd care to join hands, we'll sing the peace song now.